arts are nice and all, but sometimes I want an action figure that I can just pick up and play with without some of the fussiness of these guys. As such, lately I've been really getting into the gimmick figures for Kamen Rider for a while now. So, I want to talk about one of them. And which one are we going to talk about today? Well, I'm going to talk about what's probably my personal favorite design out of the figures I have. TK-01 Kamen Rider Drive Type Speed. So, the box. It is a container that presents the figure adequately for retail. As such, it does its job well. Can we move on? Yes. I liked Type Speed's looks ever since I first saw it. And I think the figure does a really good, nice job of recreating the look in a roughly 10 centimeter figure. A couple of things I'd like to highlight real quick though is the head first. I think Bandai Japan went the extra mile in really trying to recreate the layered compound eyes look that we get with nicer figures like Figuarts in this scale. Additionally, the rear of the figure, it's got all that nice underside of the car look sculpted into the plastic, which I enjoy. Okay, I like it a lot. Outside of that, well, the belt's kind of plain, but considering the gimmick of the figure, it's understandable. Overall, this is a nice figure in terms of the looks. It may not capture quite the plastic perfection of a Figuart, but I think it strikes a nice balance between looking good and playing well. Alright, articulation. The head's on a fairly decent ball joint. You get some nice little wiggle up and down, left to side to side. It rotates all the way if you really want it to, but I don't see why you'd want it. Shoulders are actually on a ball joint of all things, so you get the full 180, a little bit of rocking back and forth, which I like, and you get about this much out, which is probably really the real letdown of the shoulders. But other than that, it's not too bad. Arms, you get a 90-degree elbow, bicep swivel, a little bit of forearm swivel. It isn't much, but you can use it for a few things like with the driver's shift brace to try and get it over a little bit more if you want it to. You get a wrist swivel, and you get the standard Sochok Henshin gimmick rider hands that are just two sets of two fingers molded together. You get a very waist-cut waist swivel, which is nice. It works pretty well. Hips are on a universal joint, so you get some decent range. Thigh swivel, 90-degree knees, very 90 degrees, maybe just a little bit beyond, but it's hard to tell sometimes. And a nice ball-jointed ankle. Much like the looks of the figure, the articulation is good, but not Figuart level. However, you can still do a rider kick, which really, for a rider action figure, this is one of the main poses you want out of it. So, let's move on to accessories. The sole accessory you get with this figure is the Max Flare tire. With it, you can do a bit of via a very simple pop-off. You just pop off the head, the part of the torso, and the entire right arm, switch out the tire, and pop it back on. And now you get Type Speed Flare. And that's about it. Whee! It's a nice accessory. It does what it needs to. But to quote internet personality Evangelist, you're just switching tires. TK-01 Drive Type Speed is a good gimmick figure, let down mostly through a lack of real accessories. The rest of the Tire-Kokon line would, for the most part, at least include a weapon accessory in addition to the figure, plus any tires. As such, Speed feels kind of light in the accessory department. But a good figure it still is. If you can get it for the price that I did, roughly $15, you really should get it. For that price, it's a solid figure that incorporates the gimmick very well. Just know what you're in store for, and you'll find Drive a nice toy. And that's it for me. Catch you on the flip side.